Jen here, wishing you a Merry Christmas in April. I'm going through all of the amazing goodies that were sent to me in a big Happy Mail package from Christy, from Christy's Beautiful Life. She went through her stash and found a whole bunch of goodies, collections that I haven't been able to get my hands on and things like that, and just put together this absolutely amazing box of papers and embellishments and ephemera and all kinds of stuff. It was so exciting to get in the mail. And she had one big bundle of Christmas stuff, and look at how gorgeous everything is. I don't have any of this, so every page that I was flipping to, I was so excited. I kind of didn't even know where to start. I want to use it all. So I do end up eventually whittling things down to a manageable amount of paper and product that I want to use. But I'm kind of flipping through everything because it's all so pretty and I love it. Thank you so much, Christy. So this is what I've decided on here. I love that piece of tissue paper that she threw in. And then I have a red and white striped paper that comes from Crepe Paper. And the wood grain paper is from Cocoa Vanilla. So I'm kind of combining all of the stuff that she sent me. And I'm going to do, well, in my head at this point in time in the video, I still think what I want to do is some sort of layout where I use half of the wood grain paper and half of the red and white stripe, and then do a whole bunch of ephemera kind of going down the center where the two papers meet. That's not what I end up doing in the end, but it's kind of the path that I think I'm taking at this moment. So you can see here where I'm just trying to piece everything together and figure out how much of the page do I want to be wood grain and how much do I want to be the red and white stripe. My picture is a 5x7, so it's a little bit bigger and will take up a little bit more space. And so I'm just trying to get all of those dimensions. And then also when I flip that wood grain paper over, you can see the beautiful words on the other side. And I didn't want to completely lose them. So instead of just taking this red and white paper and putting the wood grain on top, or vice versa, I guess I probably could have just put the wood grain on top of the red and white. I decided to just cut that wood grain so I was able to preserve some of the words on the other side, and I'll be able to use them on another layout. And then this way I also have some more of that white and red that I can use on another layout too. So I do have 3 pictures that kind of all go together with this one that I'm scrapbooking. Obviously one of each of the kids. So I could definitely take the leftover pieces of this paper and use them on the other layouts, and then they all kind of tie in together. So now that my 2 halves are put together, I want to put this tissue paper down, and I didn't want it to be really messy. I like that torn edge, so the one edge on the left-hand side is torn, but I cut it a little bit too, just to kind of make sure that you could read all the words, because I knew that I was going to be covering some of it up. And then here's where I sort of still had the idea that I wanted to have this sort of line of ephemera going down the seam, I guess you would call it, where the 2 papers meet. But you'll see how after going through all these beautiful little bits that I have, it isn't coming together the way that I thought it would. So I kind of abandoned ship, but I do leave a little bit in here so you can kind of see my thought process. I just thought I would be able to take all those die cut pieces and there's some acetate and different things like that. I just thought I'd be able to maybe kind of place them going down that center line, but I don't know, they weren't coming together the way I thought they would. And there's some really pretty flowers and things like that in the Cocoa Vanilla die cuts that I could have used, but I decided that I think what I didn't like was I just love this picture so much. It's one of my favorite pictures of Sebastian ever. He's just got this adorable look on his face and he's looking right at Santa. And I just didn't want to make it too cluttered or too busy. And so I'm kind of going with the flow a little bit and changing my mind about how I want to set this page up. So I fussy cut out the word believe to use as my title, and it works really well because it's just slightly longer than the picture. And so it kind of grounds the picture and gives it a bit of a shelf to sit on and just kind of makes everything feel a little bit more weighted properly, I think, and helps to make that picture not feel like it's just floating in the middle of the page. So I'll go ahead here and quickly just pop down the tissue paper, and then I will put down my picture and then that word. And it ended up really being the perfect title for this layout because it's simple, it's clean, and when you look at this picture, you can really see in the moment that that sweet little bear of mine truly believes with all his heart in Santa. And so I just, it's one of those things where it just happily fell into place where I needed it to. So that was really nice. And so now to embellish, I'm gonna go with really, really simple. I went from thinking this was gonna have just tons and tons of die cuts and there'd be all kinds of dimension and layers and things like that to deciding that I really just wanted to keep it simple. So there were just these few little elements here that I thought would help to kind of bring your attention into the layout. I cut that little section. It's the title of the Cocoa Vanilla Papers. It's called Merry and Bright. I cut that off and just added that as a layer to the side with a little piece of a card. And there's a little kind of label there that's all tucked in on the right hand side. Up at the top, I cut a piece out of the card that says photo op. I thought that kind of worked out good because these are obviously Christmas photos that we had taken. And then there's another little banner that says joy to the world. And I took the ephemera piece that said ho 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 and cut those out into individual little pieces so I could kind of, instead of having them really nice and straight, I could kind of have them going up and down to create a little bit of whimsy and movement. I found these stickers in the pack that Christy had given me. So I'm going to pull out capture the moment and be jolly, and one that says Santa Claus, and one that says something I can't remember. It's in the still shots at the end. So I go ahead and put those down, and she had these really big silver stars. I don't know what they are. They're like a plastic, not a see-through acrylic. They're an opaque silver, but I just thought those were kind of fun to bring a little bit of kind of glitz to the layout and a little bit of that magic to the layout, but they're also just really simple and they're not like a solid smooth color. They're a little bit distressed, so it kind of adds to the feel of the wood grain and more of a natural feel. We're outside for this photo shoot, so I thought that kind of tied in and went really well with the feel of the picture. I also put a little bit of washi tape down at the bottom of the photo where I put the word believe, just to give it something in the back to have a little bit of interest. So I like the way that this all looks, so I'll go ahead and stick everything down, make sure everything's nice and secure. And I have to admit, I am fighting the urge to want to add more stuff. It's what I do, and I think a lot of us do that. But I have definitely shared my struggle with overdoing things. And I'm not going to this time. I really, truly am going to leave this just very simple. I think that bigger picture is really what's important about this layout. And I think everything that's there just kind of helps to bring it all together. And I didn't want anything to take away from it. So I'm just going to finish it off with a little touch of journaling and the date and a couple of enamel dots that I have. I noticed that I had them above where I'm sitting, where my camera is, and there were just 3 little lonely red ones. So I thought I would go ahead, pop them on there, and they're just that nice finishing touch. And that is my Christmas layout for this April. I just love how it came together. That picture is so sweet. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. There are links down below in the description box for everybody else who's celebrating Christmas today. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.